I haven't played Mario Kart Wii in literal years, so what better way to come back than to try to pull off every single shortcut in the game in just one day. If I'm somehow able to pull this off, then I shall bask in all the glory, but if I fail, then I will pay the price.
Mario Kart Wii!
Yeah, you can really tell that I have not played this game in a very long time, because you know damn well my me is not above the age of 12. Now, if we're going to tackle this challenge, we of course need to play as the best character in the game, and of course use the best bike. If I'm going to pull this off, or at least get close, and we're going to have to pull off as many shortcuts as possible within the first hour, and then work our way up to the more difficult ones, which you'll see me attempt later on in the video. I decided to start off with Mushroom Gorge because surely if I can do the gap jump in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, then I could do it in MK Wii. To my surprise, it only took a few minutes before I would pull off the gap jump, but afterwards I had a large realization. If I was going to do every single shortcut, that means I was going to have to do all the casual and lame shortcuts, such as going off this ramp in Luigi's Raceway. So after I came to this realization, I spent a good chunk of time doing a bunch of boring and intended shortcuts, but after I was done with that, I was back to business. Next up on my list was the shortcut in DK Summit, and I pulled it off so slowly that it might as well not be a shortcut anymore. Then we got Wario's Gold Mine, which has two shortcuts I was going to try and attempt. This pipe bounce was way harder than the other shortcut, so I decided to save that one for later.
Okay, yeah, fuck this.
This brings us to Maple Treeway. After looking at a shortcut tutorial from 2011, I was able to do this small and quirky little cut here. Given how quickly I was breezing through all of these shortcuts, I was starting to gain some confidence that I might have the time and skill to pull off the harder ones alongside the infamous ultra shortcuts. However, when I entered Grumble Volcano, I realized my confidence might not be enough. Grumble Volcano is a very broken track, as you can drive off the edge into this corner and skip a good chunk of the track, or drive on this rock at the beginning of the track and just complete the entire fucking course. However, there was one shortcut that I had quite a bit of trouble with despite it looking rather easy. This would of course be the rock hop. Despite there being a setup where you align yourself with one of these diamonds on the floor, I kept on bumping into the damn rock, but after an embarrassing amount of time, I would finally get it. In typical Anto fashion, I wanted to go for the glory and try to do this other shortcut, as it would be one of my only chances to do shortcuts back to back.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
I was happy to have Grumble Volcano off of my checklist, and even pulled off a few other shortcuts, such as this one in Dry Dry Ruins or this one in Rainbow Road. However, what lay ahead was a daunting track where, similar to Grumble Volcano, had a plethora of unintended shortcuts. This would be none other than GBA Bowser Castle. Now, I was able to quickly get this shortcut here, but the Ultra was another story to say the least. I tried and tried Donkey Kong, and even after learning the setup, I wasn't even able to get close to getting the shortcut. This is when I learned that the shortcut is actually easier to set up on the Mach bike. You made me do this, Funky Kong. 20 fucking minutes, and you couldn't even get close a single time. Now we are going to play Daisy because of you. After some attempts with Daisy, I was starting to believe she wasn't making a difference. That was until this attempt.
No!
I was probably frames away from making the shortcut, but alas, I failed, so I was stuck doing attempts over and over again. I mean, this shortcut had a consistent setup and was considered one of the easiest ultra shortcuts. Was I even going to have enough time to attempt the harder ones? Well, after some self-doubt, I would prove myself wrong.
Let's go! Oh my god! Oh dude, oh my god, oh my god. Oh.
I decided to tackle some remaining easy shortcuts as a break from the harder ones, but once the time came, I would have to revisit a notoriously broken track. This would be none other than Mushroom Gorge, where I would attempt the ultra shortcut that involves you to scale this mountain, which if done correctly, allows for you to skip most of the track. I thought this shortcut would be infinitely harder than the one on Bowser's Castle, but I was definitely wrong, as this shortcut only took me a few minutes of attempts. At this point, I was only a few hours into the challenge, and I had made a decent amount of progress, but I would have to start choosing which ultra shortcuts I would want to do first, so I can leave as much time as possible to do the ultra shortcuts. I decided it was time to go to the one and only Coconut Mall. Now, there's something that I haven't mentioned. Despite me not playing Mario Kart Wii for years upon years, I used to play this game all the time when I was younger. At this time, I wasn't just any casual player. I would play the custom tracks and even try Mario Kart shortcuts all the time because I was obsessed with TWD98. I explicitly remember trying to do the Coconut Mall Ultra shortcut when I was younger, and I was able to successfully do it, so I thought I could quickly pull it off without any tutorial, considering the fact that 10-year-old Anto was able to do it. However, I was foolishly mistaken. My memory from the past told me to attempt the clip from this angle, but after 15 minutes of trying and failing, I would finally realize this was an inconsistent way of doing it, so I finally gave in and looked up a tutorial. To my surprise, I would instantly get the trick as soon as I tried it from this angle. There would be one last shortcut I wanted to do before I attempted the bundle of the hardest ultra shortcuts in MK Wii. This shortcut being in Bowser's Castle, where you use the speed panel to skip a section of the castle. You'll see me attempt it from the right side here, because doing this shortcut on the left side is a lot more difficult. After getting mad at Daisy for an extended period of time, I would finally pull the shortcut off. Now there's a type of ultra shortcut that I had been procrastinating on doing because of the sheer precision that is required to pull them off. This would of course be the wall clip shortcuts. On paper they sound very easy. I mean, you line yourself up, shroom, and then wheelie. I started off with this shortcut in Ghost Alley 2, and after watching countless tutorials and putting in hundreds of attempts, I would get nowhere. I knew that if I kept going, I would eventually get it, but I made the hard decision to give up. It was then where I paid the price. I logged into my alternate account on YouTube, went to Anto's channel, and unsubscribed.